Yesterday we covered the half of the text until 9th chapter. As we mentioned, the first part, the first 6 chapters centered on the Tvam Padartham, about the Jiva, where Krishna tries that there is no reason for us to cry at any time, anywhere, because Panditas don't cry. And now, of course, since you finished half the chapters, you must be half Panditas now. Because Panditas are those who have Atmajnana. So, Asocyan Anvasochatvam, there is no reason for us to cry, because now Anusochanti Panditaha. So, the wise people do not cry. Why wise people do not cry? Because they are wise. They have the knowledge of the reality. And what is the reality? So Krishna, this is the God I am going to teach you. So that by the end of this camp, we will also not have any reason to cry. Because that's what the whole process is. All our cries have no basis because of what Krishna says. And what was the reason? What is that knowledge that makes me not to cry? Because I am taking this body, mind and intellect, and the destruction of this body, mind and intellect, or change of this body, mind and intellect is my change. So there is an overtime, natvevaham jatunasam natvam nimi janadipaha nachaiva nabhavishyamaha sarve vayam atah param. There is never a time I was not there, you were not there, all these things that you are seeing, they were there in the past, in the present, in the future. So it is eternal, that what you say I am, that individual is eternal. What is not eternal is only this outer skeleton form, the body, mind and intellect. But I am not the body, mind, intellect. That's what the meditation is. I am not the mind. I am not any this that I can objectify. So if I am able to shift that, I am also become a Pandita. In the sense, if I can recognize I am that conscious existent entity which never stops existing, and that is the knowledge, and that's how by knowledge people will not cry for anything that happens to be a mind. So the whole first 6 chapters is this truth cannot be grasped easily, because I am sarvagataha sthanahu. Sarvagata sthanahu means I am all-pervading consciousness. I am the existence that infinite. But I have a notion only I am finite being. And it's very difficult to understand and assimilate that knowledge because of the past habits of the vasanas. Even though I understand in the class, as soon as I leave class, I am back to the same. All my attitude will go on same way. Why? Because of so many millions of lives that I have spent with the notion that I am this body, mind, intellect. And those habits die hard. And therefore, what should I do? Krishna says, first purify that vasanas by karma yoga. You need to chitta suddhi. Chittasya suddhai karmanatostu palabhye. Shankaracharya says this purification occurs only when, because I am so centered in myself, I am this. First you expand yourself, include everybody else as much as you can. That is the first step. And all that, how do I do? Yajnartham karmanonyatra lokoyam karma bandhana tadartham karma. So you have to do for the sake of yajna. Yajna is, simple ways, it is for Narayana's sake. I am the yajna. In the Vishnu Sahasranama says. So do for the sake of Narayana. Say Paramatma Prityartham. So even chanting of Vishnu Sahasranama, you say Sri Narayana Prityartham only. Although in the end you take all the Phalasruti. But that's not. Purpose is I am doing for the sake of Narayana. Why does Narayana want it? He doesn't need it. Because in that process, I am purifying my mind. So purification of mind is required. Remember the whole concept I discussed? The consciousness reflects the mind. If the mind is dirty, no reflection come out. Nothing come back as a reflected beam. So all consciousness which is light all over, Jyotir Jyoti, which is Swayam Jyoti, but cannot get reflected by the mind if mind is pure. The mirror is dirty, the light cannot get reflected. I cannot see my face if the mirror is all crowded. So I need to wipe out that mirror to clean it so that I can see myself. In the same way, consciousness that is all pervading, to recognize itself, mind has to be purified. Remember, I gave you an example. The mind, reflecting medium, image formation, an image can be seen. So if I want to see myself, I need a mirror. I cannot see my face unless there is a mirror. Even though I have the face. But to see anything, I need a mirror to see. But mirror in the image is not me. But unfortunately, I take the image as myself, that is reflected, and that's what is ahankara is. So the Tvam Padartham is discussed in the first 6 chapters. How to evolve, what to do meditation, all that we discussed up to that. In the next 6 chapters from 7 to 12, we are discussing, or Krishna is discussing about the Tat Padartham. Tat Padartham is that. What is that? That, to start with, is this world that I see, because I don't see the Lord. And then where does this world come? Then I bring Lord has created, so it includes Lord Narayana also. So that therefore the world and the creator are included. And if you look from 7th chapter on, most beautiful slokas Krishna gives in the nature of the reality of the Lord himself. Bhumirapo nalo vayu kam mano buddhi revacha ahankara vidiyami bhinna prakriti rashtada apareyamitastvanyam prakritim vidhime param jiva bhutam dharyate jagat. This is the word in between. But that all 5 panchabhutas, Bhuminihi, Apahanahan, so on, panchabhutas, Manas, Buddhi, Ahankara. All 8 aspects are my nature. So, in that declarative statement, Krishna says, what you see everywhere, Bhumi Apa means all the Panchabhutas from which the whole world came into picture. Akasha, Akashad, Vayu, Vayu, Agni, Agni, Abha, Abja, Prithvi, Prithivya, Oshda, all these things that Upanishad talks about in the hierarchy of the creation, all are me. Because it's me itself in different form. Ahushyam Pradayeti. I want to become many and I became many. So the Vedanta, this truth, Krishna is telling us in a simple statements, this is my lower nature. So why do I need to know? When I'm transacting in the world, remember the first statement, Asocyan Anyasocyatam, there is no reason for me to cry. Why? Because I'm dealing with the Lord all the time. So if I keep that knowledge in my mind, then I evolve myself. It's difficult to keep. I always get angry this with that and all that because I get carried away with the superficial things. But if I keep this, how do I keep this? Constant Sravanam, Mananam, Vidijya. There is no other shortcuts here. Listening to the scriptures, thinking about it, and contemplating on it are the only means that these things provide. That's what the scripture says. So, recognition that this whole world is nothing but himself in different forms, but these are my lower nature. There is a higher nature that you cannot see. That is infinite, that's why you cannot see. And higher nature is the one that is infinite, therefore it is nirgunam, avyayam, means it is indestructible. Achintyam, it cannot be thought of. It is achalam, it cannot move. Why? There is no place to move, everywhere it is there. So it's being infinite, it is cannot have. So all those indications in terms of whatever moves cannot be it, those definitions are not really definitions, because it's only negative definitions of what it is not. So infinite is itself it's not finite. That's also anything finite cannot be that. Anything that has form cannot be that, because form defines a finiteness. Anything that I can think of cannot be that. So all that indications of that, using what I can see, I have to go beyond what I cannot see, because I cannot see that. This will come in the 12th chapter as we see. So this statements that what the whole universe is my lower nature and there is a higher nature. So there is two hierarchies established, and what is lower nature is a transactional world called Vyavaharika Satyam, and the one that is higher nature is a Paramarthika Satyam, which I cannot define, but that what is. That which cannot be defined, there are only two things. One is the Brahman. Brahman means infiniteness. Infiniteness cannot be described, because only finite things can be described. Any description, definition applies to only finite. So infinite cannot be described. That's called Paramarthikam. Yatho vacho nivartante aprapya manasasaha. The words, the speech and the mind can come back without reaching that. That's what scripture itself says. So it is indescribable, yet that's what is Brahman is. Also I cannot describe I am, the subject, because any description of the subject is an objectification. Therefore I am also cannot be described. And there are two things. I am is a consciousness existent that I am, and Lord who is creator also has to be conscious existent things, and both are cannot be described. But what can be described is Lord in the lower form, because this whole thing is my lower prakriti. But seeing the lower prakriti, if I can tune my mind to the higher, that becomes a realization. Just as in the front of the mirror I stand and looking at the image, and from the image I look and recognize that it is my face that is reflected. So I am shifting my attention from the image that is reflected to the original. In the same way, I am looking at the whole universe in any forms and whatever shapes that you can, but not the forms, because he is beyond the forms, but yet includes all the forms. Therefore, I have to use what I can see to that which is beyond that I cannot see. So, to recognize the presence of the Lord everywhere, Krishna now goes into, look at my vibhuti, look at my glory. So in the ninth chapter that we took yesterday, Mayatanamidam sarvam jagad avyakta murtina mastani sarva bhutani nachaham tesha avastita nachamastani bhutani pasyami yoga vishwaram. See, I pervade this whole universe in unmanifested form. That means it's not a manifestation of any forms, formless form that I pervade the whole universe. That means that is like Akasha. That is like an infinite thing which cannot be perceived. So Avyakta Murtina, the same thing that he said in the 7th chapter. I am the one apareyam itastvanyam pragatim vidyame. That is beyond this, there is something that beyond, that is my true higher nature. Here same way in the 9th chapter, there is, I pervade this entire universe in unmanifested form, and mastani sarva bhutani, all beings are in me. But their problems do not belong to me. Achamastani bhutani. So matsani sarva bhutani nacha aham tesha avastitaha. Their avastha, their problems do not belong to me. So I gave a simple example of the gold and the ornaments. Although gold says, I pervade all the ornaments as the very substantive adhara, but problems of the ring is different from problems of the necklace, are different from problems of the bracelet. Their problems of their properties do not belong to the gold. Because problems of the ring is different from problems of the bangle. So that way, in the same way, it says, Nacha aham desha avastitha, I am not in their specific avastha, states. Then immediately he goes, Natavastani bhutani pasyami yugoeswaram. They are in me just now, he said, but they are not in me also. This contradiction is only from looking from paramarthika point versus vyavaharika point. This is what has to be understood clearly. Looking from the ring and the bangle and the necklace, ring is real, bangle is real, necklace is real, bracelet, they are all different. Yet, gold can still declare, although all are in me, but they are not really in me. There is no really ring, there is no really bangle, there is no necklace, there is nothing else because I am pure gold. So I can have an understanding from the point where all forms are dissolved into one, as where the differences of different things that I see are resolved into one, even though differences appears to be there. So differences is still there at the transactional level, but at understanding level, the absolute has to be understood also. Just as you said, a scientist knows fundamentally electrons, protons, neutrons are fundamentally same across the board. But still, iron is iron, charcoal is charcoal, gold is gold. Those are transactional purposes. So knowing the transactional purpose of the Satyam, at that operation I can still look at from the total point also. There is no confusion. The garbage is still garbage and food is food. There is no confusion also. I don't have to eat garbage just because I am a scientist. Because I know that there are protons and neutrons. So that understanding has to be, so the Advaitin has to operate properly like anybody else. Oh, he is acting the same way. Say, yeah, he has to act the same way. Because he has to treat garbage as a garbage and the food as a food. But also, he knows that fundamentally they are the same too. So that's the dualistic nature is what is emphasized in both 7th chapter and in the nature of this in the 9th chapter as well. Once we understand that he is both the lower and higher, and this is my glory, Arjuna. See, everything is me, but I am not there. Nothing, at the same time, they are not me. So in every expression of the nature, see me first. So wherever you see there is a vibhuti, glory that is there. So I am balam balamata-asmi, tejas-asmi. I am buddhi buddhimanam-asmi. I am the intelligence in all intellects. I am the strength in all the strong people. All that statements are what? To make sure, if I say, it's not me who discovered, it is that intelligence behind me. That is the Lord who is. I am able to lift my hand only because of Him. So if I can understand, appreciate the beauty that Lord is pervading in everything, then my mind, my attitude in the action, my approach to the world itself should slowly change. The more this sinks in, the more it becomes my natural process. With that, in addition to that, in the 9th chapter, the bhakti aspect is discussed, and this will come again in the 12th chapter. So I didn't emphasize that aspect. We will go to 12th at that time. In the next 10th chapter that we'll take now, says Vibhuti Yoga. This is, Vibhuti is the glories. Look at my glory. And Krishna is giving the examples to Arjuna, what Arjuna sees at that time, what are the glories. So far as we can see, whatever that the beauty, see that is the Lord. So, let's look at this sloka 3. Yo mam ajamanadincha. Sorry. Yo mam ajamanadincha. Something. Veti loka maheshwaram. Now this style is coming. Asammudasya marcheshu sarva papai pramuchyate So yaha mam ajam anadim cha vettim lokameshwaram. So whoever can see that I am unborn, means there is no beginning or end, that ajam, anadim, the beginningless, and whoever vetti, whoever knows that I am the Lord of the entire universe itself, lokameshwaram. Asammudhaha, who has no more mudhatvam, who is no more delusion at all, that martyeshu sarvapapaihi pramuchyate, he will be released from all sins. Means whoever can see me beyond these vasanas, who can then recognize me in all, then he will not have any papams. That can only happen when I recognize that I am the totality itself, Satchidananda Swarupam. Therefore, akartaham, abhoktaham. Therefore, I am neither a doer nor an enjoyer. Therefore, none of the sins can properly come to me because I am not even a doer. So that has to be clear. That's why sarva papaihi pramuchyate. And with this, he gives an introduction. Etam vibhutim yogancha. Mamayo vetti tattvataha sovikampena yogena yujyate natra samsayaha. So, etam vibhutim yogam chas. This vibhuti of mine, that mama vetti tattvataha. So, mama vibhuti, this my glories that whoever can see that with in truth, in tattvataha, in reality, whoever can see this vibhuti of mine, saha avikampena yogena, the ones who is those persons who is avikampena, without any kampana, without any perturbations in the mind, who can see crystal clearly the nature of my reality. Yujyate natra samseha is essentially come to me, join me, merge into me. There is no doubt about it. So once who can see me, my glory everywhere, that is projected. So why do I need to see the glories of that or hear the glory here? By recognizing the glory, I recognize the Creator. So when beautiful building is, my God, who is architect? We ask, who created this beauty? Or whatever the beautiful artistic something, we say, who did this? We want to know. Means what creative mind created such a beauty here? So looking at the beautiful things, my mind is redirected to that who created that, because that intelligence has created this. And who appreciates me in this, looking at those vibhutis, they become one with me. So it's essentially knowledge is involved in appreciating what I'm seeing. So what is the glory? Why it is so? Let's look at the 8th. Aham sarvasya prabhavaha mattah sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam Budha bhava samanvitaha. Aham sarvasya prabhaha. In recognizing that all thing that I see in this world, and that who is the creator of all this, because there is one who creates everything in this universe. It's not this fellow created, that fellow created, he made this, all that. Everything, the whole universe is created by him. One who recognizes that sarvasya prabhavaha is mattaha, by me only. And sarvam pravartate, I am the creator and I am the sustainer of the whole universe that is moving around. Then who recognizes me as both the creator and the sustainer. Iti matva bhajante imam, recognizing that I am both the creator and the sustainer, who appreciates, and bhajanti means very appreciation becomes the mind, get absorbed into that state of understanding. Says mam buddha bhavam samanvitaha. Says the wise people, Says bhava samanvitaha. So here not only the mentally, emotionally merging with him, intellectually also merging with him, both have to join together. Like Swami Chinmaya says, it's like two wings of the bird, where to fly, to take the flight, I need both wings, both the mind and the intellect. And that is where you reach me. So here, this is a very important sloka. The reason I say this, in the self-realization, because a lot of people talk about self-realization, understanding, you need to know jnanam. So jnanam can come by listening to the scriptures. You are that. It's just a simple statement. You are that. End of the sloka, end of the class. But even though I understand that I am the nature of the reality, as soon as I leave the class or as soon as I go into involve myself into the routine world, that doesn't stay. So what happens? I know, but I cannot see. What should I do? So everybody has a concept that I need to realize something. It is going to something is going to happen, or all over some bright light is going to come. All these notions are there. Some realization is something is going to happen. Nothing will happen. You will be saying like what you are. So then what is realization? How come I feel I am not realized? At least if you not realize, that is first clear understanding has to be there. What exactly is the truth? And what is my nature or what is the world? That has to be clear, but that can be learned by Sravanam and Mananam. That is what jnanam is. Even though jnanam is there, but still because of the mind, emotional attachments in the past, that is jnana karma janitam, ajnana karma janitam, the one that actions that have been done in the past due to old centuries and lives, that still is there dragging me. So as soon as I go back, I still encounter the same problems that I encountered, so problem is still there. Even though I have the knowledge here that I have gained, I still understood clearly, but that is not coming into my day-to-day transactions because of the past, because the emotional attachments are still there. That's why Shrotavyaha, Mantavyaha, Nididhyasitavyaha means I need to keep on churning in that mind again and again and again until it becomes my very habit itself. That has to come. And that's why scripture understands this as a problem, and therefore jnanam is one aspect of it. Then jnana karma janitam, previously ajnana karma janitam, in order to remove that it takes a lot more time because of the prarabdha. Prarabdha will continue until this body, mind, intellect is there, because that's the one that is keeping the body, mind, intellect. But understanding and assimilating as internalizing that knowledge, that takes a time. So jnani is one who understood clear cut, but that has to be put into until this becomes as an internalization has to come. That can come only by constantly reflecting on that. Okay, that has to be understood here. That's why Krishna says who is understood my nature, that I am that higher, intellectually understand, but even with the mind also has to come into me. Therefore he says, Bhajante Mam, who surrenders to me, that even that ego has to be surrendered at that level. He says, they will reach me only, there is no question about it. Then Krishna goes into all glories that Arjuna can relate it. Vedanam Samavedosmi. I am the Vedas, I am the Samaveda. Why Samaveda? All other Vedas are not him. Because Samaveda is music also is there. The Samaveda, compared to other Vedas, Samaveda is a singing is involved. So I am the best in all that. So he gives Acharanam Akarosmi. I am only letters, Akara is the I am. Akara is the basic sound. That's why Amma is the first word that children start calling. And that Akara is the first word in most of the languages. And also Omkara starts with Akara, Ukara, Makara, Miti, says Om Icheda. Ekaksharam Brahma, Akara, Ukara, Makaram. So Akaram stands for Akara in Vishnu. Vishnu is Akaram. In the Sri Vaishnava interpretation, Ramananda interpretation is Akara stands for Vishnu, Ukara stands for Lakshmi, and Makara stands for Jiva. And to go to Akara, there is a Ukara is there in between. So the Jiva has to go through Lakshmi to reach Narayana. That's what is Omkara, explanation of the Ramanujas. In the Mondikari we took, Akara stands for waking state, Ukara stands for dream state, Makara stands for the deep sleep state. And the silence is that which pervades all the three. So that, different interpretations of that. So here, this is the basis for the Ramanujas also. Aksharanam akarosmi. I am the Akara. So Dvandva Samasikasya, Dvandva Samasa, I am the Samasa. He is giving simple examples that can take us, where is the Lord? Everywhere, in principle. I am the Mrityu also. Mrityus Sarvaharasya. I am the one, the death that eats away everything also. And Vishayanam, Sarva, I am the Krishna and this, and I am Arjuna also. Is also. Pandavanam Dhananjaya. I am the Dhananjaya among the Pandavas. I mean the best among them. So we can relate. This is only an example. In fact, it tells you there is nothing. I can keep on going whole, but I have to continue camp also, and Krishna has to continue the Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, I am going to stop with a few of the examples that in the Vibhuti Yoga it says. So far as, how do we apply it? So people ask me, how to apply this all the time? So how to apply is, whenever I see the beauty, a beautiful flower, a beautiful something, anything, any beautiful, see the glory of the Lord there. So Lord is just not in the temple or in some place. As to come out of it, everything is an expression of the Lord. Every life is an expression of the Lord itself. Start seeing His Vibhuti. That is the practical application. So wherever I go, I cannot be away from Him, but everything is Him only. But I can see beautiful things, I can recognize easily His presence. So in this Vibhuti Yoga, is only glorified things that also. If you go to Niagara Falls, there's a beautiful there. Mind get arrested. See the beauty of the Lord there. Anything that takes your mind away from the routine things and locks you in. A beautiful music or beautiful a creation is there. You see that beauty coming out there. So recognition of His Vibhuti everywhere comes automatically if I understand He is everything. A beautiful dance, beautiful this, beautiful, I can get lost in it, but if I remember also that is His expression only, my mind gets elevated in that process. Okay? It can be science, it can be this, whatever, wherever you have affinities, you have inclinations, use that itself as a basis for you to recognize the beauty of the Lord. And Krishna goes on and on giving and says, the sloka 40, Nantos mimama divyanam Vibhutinam param tapa Yeshato desatah prokto Vibhutir vistaro maya Na antaha mama divyanam. There is no end. I can keep on going one way. Everything that you see, everything beautiful I see is me only. So I cannot keep on describing so many things that you are not even familiar with. I can say all are my vibhutis only. Therefore, Krishna says one flat statement. And that's why we can apply this everywhere. Na antaha mavadivyanam. There is no end for my glories at all. O Arjuna says, there is no parantapa. O Arjuna, here the sculpture of enemies says, there is no end. Even Pandava is me only. But he already said that. Pandavanam Dhananjayam, Pandavanam Dhananjaya. I am the Pandava in Dhananjaya also. So, where is that he is not there? Only we'll see in the next chapter. So this is an introduction to his glories where say, see me in everything that you transact with, if you can, but at least see me where your mind gets elated. I'm there in everything. But whenever your mind gets arrested in the beauty, see my glory there at least first. Recognize that. So everything is beautiful only because of him. Whether he, she, it or any, doesn't matter what it is. Anything is beautiful because of him only. So if I can recognize that, then I see the beauty or vibhuti of the Lord. So for this, the infinite or my glories, I cannot describe, but anything, anywhere that you see, that attention, your mind gets attracted or arrested because of that beauty, see my glory there. So that is what that we have to apply, and that then with that application of the mind, not only seeing the beauty as I see it and recognize it, when I become devotee of that Lord, then my ahankara also goes down. So first seeing the vibhuti and surrendering to that Lord Creator is what the purification process is. So